I suspect a close second in your owner favourites is Mr. Chansiri at Sheffield Wednesday, Kieran, isn't it? Another stadium manoeuvrer, and you were getting very cross with his accounts going in very late this year, weren't you? You were a bit worried last time we spoke. Has he bought himself some time? And we should mention Gary Monk just in now, who's a very safe pair of hands. Dealing with. He obviously picked up the hot potato at Birmingham, didn't he, after their previous ownership issues. How's Mr. Chansiri doing?
Financially, Sheffield Wednesday's intriguing. He set up, I think it was four companies called Sheffield One Limited, Sheffield Two Limited, Sheffield Three Limited, Sheffield Four Limited. I think Sheffield Two Limited are now the official owners of Hillsborough. So that the club doesn't own it. That was sold for 60 million. Is that a fair price? Could be, could not be. What we do need, and this is where I think the EFL really need to show that they mean business. And I do think the appointment of Rick Parry is an excellent
There's a
addition there.
question on that at the end, Kieran, so keep your powder dry on that one.
Okay, rightio. Then what the EFL will do is that they will appoint independent people, and they will say, this is what we think the stadium is going to be, and it's going to be our final decision, which goes into the equations for FFP purposes. The clubs are, of course, entitled to appeal. That could go to a lawsuit, and it could drag out for 4 years, as we've seen in relation to QPR, where the EFL's legal bill was £3 million, and I assume that QPR's was something similar. So, yeah, Sheffield Wednesday is a funny one because it's not just the owner selling the ground to himself. If you take a look at the perimeter advertising, there's adverts for a taxi company in Sheffield owned by the owner, which doesn't appear to own any taxis. I occasionally use Uber, and I have a moan if they don't turn up with 10 minutes. But at least I know, hey, Uber do have some drivers. They do have some taxis. So, there's that. There's a sports drink company, which is also owned by the owner. The kit is being manufactured by a sportswear company. Hey, it's owned by the owner. What a coincidence. Does it mean that these companies are paying generous prices for the deals? Could be. But it does seem strange that these transactions are taking place. I did get a bit arsy with Sheffield Wednesday for choosing to break the law and not publish their accounts on
How
time.
late were they?
It's about 2 months, but they'd used a loophole to push them back 2 months, and it was another 2 months beyond that. And then when they've sold the ground, yes, it's in the accounts as being sold, but they've not actually received any cash for it. So that seems a bit nuts. So if I sold you my house, Ben, the one thing I want to get from you is the cash from the sale of the house. So they appear to have sold the stadium to whoever this company is, Sheffield Two Limited, and I think they're being paid over 6 or 7 years for it. That's an unusual way to finance a property deal.
Interesting.
So a cynic would say it's being undertaken purely to circumvent FFP rules, and it has. It has not broken the rules. It's shimmied its way through them. If my centre forward does the same tomorrow at Newcastle, dodges, weaves, and puts it in the back of the net through going left, right, centre, getting around the opposition, then that's fine. And that's what appears to be the case here. They have not broken the rules. They've identified a weakness, exploited the weakness, and benefited in terms of FFP compliance as a result.
A lot of shimmying going on, Kieran, a lot. Just a quick mention, it looks like the flag bearer for the lawsuit against Derby is going to be Steve Gibson at Middlesbrough. It looks like they're going gung-ho for this, and particularly given they were quite close and they've just run out of parachute payments, they're probably the one with the most to lose with that, but we'll go on to them.